Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer and I'm an artist and illustrator, and today I'm going to go over the techniques that I use when using colored pencil in my illustrations and coloring. So first I'll go over the pencils themselves. Most often you're going to see me use the Faber-Castell Polychromo pencils. That's because my background in colored pencil is with botanical art, and that's what's used mostly in that industry. So I have acquired quite an array of colors in that pencil. The other pencil is the Prismacolor, which is a very popular pencil. And it is a wax-based pencil, and the Polychromos are an oil-based pencil. I have most recently picked up this inexpensive brand on Amazon, Art and Fly, 48 colors. I think it was $25. So I'll be doing a video on a composition that I use with these. That I've tested them out. They're very good. So yeah, I'll do that in a later video. So the differences between these two pencils and even the Art and Fly. The Art and Fly is an oil-based pencil, and the Polychromo is an oil-based pencil. But the Prismacolor is a wax-based pencil. Now these are very soft pencil, and the Prismacolor is a very soft pencil. The Faber-Castell is a very hard pencil. And the difference I find when working with the two is that you get pigment down a lot faster with the Prismacolor, but you're also filling up the tooth of the paper a lot quicker, so you can do a lot less layers. So the first thing I'll go over is pressure. And when you're first starting out, if you hold the pencil back so that the back of the pencil is resting on your hand there, then you can't press too hard. So you'll get a feel of what light pressure is. It's just slightly gliding over the surface of the paper. And going in circular motions, I always do circular motions because I don't like hatch lines in my work. And then medium pressure, if you move the pencil down so it's about mid-hand, and then you press a little bit harder, you'll get a slightly darker value of that color or hue. And for heavy pressure, you hold the pencil at the tip, but you don't want to be pushing so hard that you're disturbing the tooth of the paper. You're still going on the surface of the paper in circular motions. You don't want to be doing this. That's called varnishing, and we'll go over that a little bit later. So those are the three pressures, and you can practice that to get a nice gradation. And then I will go over blending colors, which is pretty much the same. You will use light pressure and go back and forth between the colors until you get a nice gradation between the two colors. So we'll use light pressure first. And you bring those colors into each other, overlapping. Going back and forth, layering, until you have a nice gradation. Okay. So the next technique I'll talk about is varnishing. And you can use several things to varnish. You can use a stomp. You can use a cream pencil or a white pencil. Prismacolor has a colorless blender, which I often use. And what that is you're using really heavy pressure and you're pushing down the tooth of the paper and heating up the pigment. So you just use heavy pressure, circular motions, going right over. It gives a really nice shine because you're flattening the tooth of the paper and heating up the pigment, so it blends up those colors together. You probably want to use a brush instead so you don't smudge your work. And you always have to make sure that there's not color on your blender, muddy up your colors. There. That's varnishing. And then the last technique I'll go over is lifting, and which I use this mono eraser. You can use a kneaded eraser. You can use a regular eraser cut into a fine point. You don't want to use a dirty one like that one. It's got graphite all over it. Okay, and so you just go over and slowly lift up some pigment to get a highlight. And there, and that's lifting. So I'll demonstrate a petal from this test sheet that I was working on and how I have been coloring in these petals. And I'm going to use the yellow, and I'm going to go with fairly heavy pressure, circular motions over the entire petal. And then I'm going to use this red violet color in the shadows, and I'm going to use light pressure, circular motions, and the mixture of those two colors makes a nice brown. And I'll go over it again with the yellow. And I'll just do a little bit harder pressure where I want the shadow to be darker. In there. And then I'm going to actually varnish this with the yellow pencil. So I'm going to use heavy pressure, circular motions going over the entire thing. Just blend those colors together. And then I'll use my eraser to make sure that there's not pigment on the eraser or muddy up your colors. And I will just slowly lift out some highlights. And there. So those are the techniques I most often use in my illustrations. Thank you for watching. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and see you next time.